ANKR price prediction.
Let's get into it.
So today, guys, we're going to be taking a cheeky look at ANKR. We'll be taking a look at that ANKR price prediction just to see what's been going on with the price action of this coin. We'll be taking a look at the ANKR technical analysis down on the daily chart, the 4-hourly chart, and the hourly chart. We'll be taking a look at all three of those and comparing them to see what is going to be going on here with the ANKR coin, and specifically what is going on with the ANKR price. We'll also be taking a look at our forward-thinking predictions. We'll be taking a look at those ANKR price targets, and then obviously going and thinking a little bit more long-term where we think this thing may end up during 2021. If you do find this video useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you'd like to stay up to date with everything cryptocurrencies, new crypto, hidden gems, and technical analysis alike, then do go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free and you'll stay well informed, so, why not? And Chris, anything else you would like to add before we jump on down to the charts and start reviewing this ANKR price prediction?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Let me know whether you've been buying this awesome dip and getting yourself some ANKR at like heavily discounted prices, and let me know what you think the actual price will be come the peak of the bull run. Really interested to know.
Fantastic. Right, let's jump down to the charts and get on into it.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. So, just briefly, for those who may not be aware, what is ANKR Network? And just to keep this brief overview, we did a whole video on this, so do check that one out if you want more detail. But the ANKR Network was created to provide a new blockchain solution that leverages the idle computing power from edge devices and data centers. Now, ultimately, its distributed computing platform enables the sharing economy, where consumers will be able to access cloud resources far more affordably, and enterprises will be able to monetize their spare computing power. The network is, how do I put it? It is the first of its kind to use trusted hardware, and this is the hardware that basically runs software directly inside it. It is slightly more expensive, and therefore there's a bit of a barrier to entry if you wanted to run an ANKR node. With that being said, though, it is also implementing plasma sidechains so that off-chain computing can be used to enhance the throughput and power of the network. So pretty good stuff going on. And the goal of ANKR is to basically unlock the potential of distributed cloud computing by embedding computing power within the blockchain. This is achieved through the proof of useful work and consensus and mechanism, where all those who are securing the network and promoting block propagation are able to unlock significant computing resources. And ANKR is one of those novel approaches in its distributed cloud computing blockchain spaces. And with, I think the launch of their mainnet was back in 2019. The team is incredibly well positioned to take on any competition. Recently, we've seen ANKR do incredibly well when it was basically nominated as the #1 Binance Smart Chain validator, and I think it's done incredibly well since then. And if you want to know more details around ANKR and what they're up to and all that good stuff, check out the video that we did, which was called "What is ANKR?" Definitely worth a read. A watch. Right, let's get into the charts. Right, so this is ANKR to the USDT, the daily chart, and Binance is the data source. From here, we have a Fibonacci retracement on, and this runs from our low level down here on the 21st of March through to that high point up on the 28th of March. From here, that was a 7-day run that saw 221% in gains. Since then, it's traded sideways for now 24 days, which is not too uncommon. It can trade sideways for quite some time when you basically get large pullbacks like this, but also just around what happens when you have such a significant rally to the upside. Now, our first price target of 30.9 cents, that's the very first thing that we're looking to achieve here with ANKR. That comes in at 99% from the current position, so another 99% up, and we would have achieved that 30.9 cent area. Now, The other things that we can see here, I'll just move this out of the way for a second, is we have the 50 moving average, the 100 moving average, and the 200 moving average, and they're quite far away from the candles at the moment. We have a decrease in volume over time here. The bigger macro view is a decrease in volume, and even the micro view is a decrease in volume. So volumes are nice and low on this daily chart, and our relative strength index, when we had that move to the upside, we were overbought, and actually we've corrected now just below our blue line here at 55.1, which actually brings our relative strength index down to 53.3. And that's a pretty good position because it gives us lots of room to grow to the upside, but we do have to be cautious that there's loads of room to the downside too. So what we're going to have to do is check that 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart for wherever that relative strength index is currently falling. So what we're going to do first is pull this down into our 4-hourly, and here we can see that that relative strength index is a little bit lower. It's actually coming in at 47 currently, but got down to as low as 36, which is a pretty good spot when we were down here. Now on this 4-hourly chart, we can actually see that these moving averages, the 50, the 100, the 200 moving averages, are slightly in different positions. We have the 50 and the 100 above the candles, with the 200 below the candles. It looks like the 100 moving average is working as a resistance, with the 200 moving average potentially forming an area of support down here. Now, a good area of support that can be seen is this area here. This is the 50% retracement zone, and we actually have 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests on that area. A recent breakdown, but then a pull right back up into this area here. So that looks like a good area of support for us, and that comes in at approximately 14.2 cents. And again, that volume, as you can see here on this 4-hourly chart, has been dwindling down. So low volume, low relative strength index, and below average 50, 100 average candle price here. So definitely looking interesting on the 4-hourly. Now let's pull this down into our hourly chart. And again, here we can see that price action a little bit more clearly. We can see how we're testing down in that 50% retracement zone in more detail. We can see how we were oversold when we got down into this bottom area here. And since then, we've actually rallied this thing up towards our blue line of 55, right? 0.1 here. Currently, it's actually sat at 55.5. So pretty good. It's got loads of room still to grow. But the problem that we've had here is when we were moving this relative strength index to the upside, the volumes were not increasing. They were quite static. They were quite flat. And therefore, we haven't made huge progress with the price. Instead, we've used a lot of that relative strength index space just down here without actually causing or creating a bit of a pump to the upside in a good way. And we have found resistance up here at the 50 moving average just there. And we are turning that 50 into a support line right now. Above that, though, we do have the 100 and 200 moving averages. So again, the current anchor price is below the price or the average price on that 100 and 200 moving average. So we do have to be cautious over that. It looks like things are coming to a potential end here, but the volumes are going to be what drives this at the moment. And without that volume coming in, we're potentially going to end up having to correct back down. A back test to that 50% retracement is probably going to be on the cards in the short term. But let's go ahead and pull this down, pull this up into our daily and start talking about those anchor price predictions, Chris. You know, the reason why everyone's joined us today. So straight away we have that first price target, right, which was 30.9. That's obviously just the very first one that we'll be taking a look at. But beyond that, the second price target comes in at 45.8 cents, and from 45.8 cents, that's actually 195% gains from the current position. So pretty good and pretty lucrative still. And then the third price target comes in here at 60.8. And if I pull this up here, we can see that that comes in at about 291% in gains. So still quite lucrative there. And then the 4.236 extension level shows a price target here of 70 cents. And then that one actually comes in at about 350% in gains. Okay, so quite lucrative and quite a lot of gains still left on the table. I know it's one of those things that a lot of people worry about is, has the alt season finished? Things haven't really even started, guys, and things are going to be getting quite heated as we continue to move to the upside. Now, longer term, guys, if we start thinking, okay, well, those price targets are actually quite small in comparison to everything else. So we just jump over to coin market cap here, just shoot down to find ANKR. I'll give this a click. From here, we can see the current price is actually up 9.4% today. It's 15.5% at the point of recording this video. And let's take a look at some of these metrics down here, right? We have a market cap of just over 1 billion. We have a fully diluted market cap of 1.5 billion. But ultimately, guys, there's 6.9 billion circulating supply. There's a maximum supply of 10 billion. So if we start thinking, okay, well, we're at 1 billion right now. If we were to go 10x on our current position, that puts this thing at $1.50. And I do think that that is actually quite possible. I think ANKR is definitely well positioned to have a market cap of at least 10 billion. I'm not sure if you align to that, Chris.
Yeah, completely do, Nick.
Okay, so even if it wasn't to go a 10x, but I think ultimately if it got to something like $6.9 billion, then that still puts this thing at $1. So if we hop back down to our charts over here, we actually have $1 scoped out over here, right? So if ANKR were to rally up to $1, which I still think it will go higher, but let's just use that dollar as it's a nice clean example. That comes in here at 544% in gains. Okay, so from the current position, there's still a lot of gains to be made here with ANKR. Now, if we go ahead and do that 10x example and pull this thing up to that $1.50, that's going to show us an 867% worth of gains still on the table. But it might not even end there. ANKR, as I said, is such a well-positioned project. It could go up to $2. And I do believe it is going to reach at least $2. So I'm going to leave that one there at 1,188% in gains. And the reason that I think ANKR's well positioned for this is that it is so heavily integrated in so many projects. It is basically your number one go-to provider if you are not a technical individual and you would like to spin up a validator node for your favorite project. They are integrated with almost, well, not I say almost all, but they're integrated with a lot of projects and basically provide you with a one-button solution to spin up a validator node for that particular project. So if you wanted to run a node for Bitcoin, you could go to ANKR.com and go ahead and, spin up a Bitcoin node. Really simple. If you want to do Ethereum 2.0, get into that staking Ether, then go ahead and spin up an Ethereum node. If you're looking at Elrond and you want it to be a validator there, guess what? You can go to ANKR and spin up an Elrond node. Likewise, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 and so forth. There's a huge list, and you can just go ahead and fire up a node for a very small fee. And again, it's quite cost effective because they are using that idle computing power. So when you start thinking about what they're actually doing and how they make it so easy to use above and beyond just monetizing spare computer resources, but also helping the entire space become more decentralized by running additional nodes and all that kind of good stuff, I do think this is definitely something that has huge potential. So a $2 for me definitely seems like something that we could see. And if you followed our video that we did yesterday on 5 coins to 5 million, you'll see that ultimately there's a few projects that have quite nice and juicy price predictions. And I do think that a lot of these smaller projects right now are going to absolutely explode once we get into that kind of parabolic phase of the altcoin season. Now, Chris, I've been talking for a while, but I do feel that maybe you want to kind of enlighten the guys with a bit more wisdom.
Yeah, really love this project. And I think it's only a matter of hours, possibly days, before we start to see this one really swing back up to the upside. Again, I think this one's going to do really well in the bull run.
Fantastic. Guys, if you found this video useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all of those hidden gems, new cryptocurrencies, technical analysis and news, then do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free, you'll stay well informed, so why not? And with all that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, take care.